Recently, I made a video poem called The Carousel. In it, I try to express my feelings of depression and hopelessness that I've experienced in this confusing and sometimes brutal world of ours. If you haven't seen that video yet, you can check it out in the link. It's important for context. But in this video, I'll be doing a story time of sorts about why I wrote the poem. Okay, so after high school, I had it quite easy. I was at home. While my home life was fairly strict and controlling, I didn't have to study, work, or pay for anything. I spent my days doing whatever I wanted. I knew that I was in a very privileged situation, so I tried to show that I was thankful whenever I could. I was happy. I was happy for a while. Months passed. I was only really allowed to do the same things every day. I grew restless. Even my hobbies became less enjoyable. I wanted a challenge, to experience life, but to admit that made me feel like such a spoiled, ungrateful child. I was supposed to be thankful and content. So I was. To cope, I started talking more, asking more questions, showing more gratitude. It distracted me from feeling guilty about how I really felt. I started struggling to focus. My thoughts were constantly battling each other. One half was screaming that I fight for what I felt I needed. The other was shaming me for wanting more. I felt like I had more than I deserved already. There were days I just couldn't do it anymore. I saw nothing meaningful to do. My life had become so bland and dull. It was exhausting to pretend that I loved having so much free time on my hands. I missed my old friends. My parents had a way of making me feel guilty for asking to see them. I hated being alone. I knew deep down I was allowing myself to be miserable at home. I was causing my suffering, and knowing that was unbearable. So if I had to be alone, it was better to be numb. I did almost any chore just to feel like I'd done something well or something kind, even if it was just for my family. My parents explained how some of my hopes and goals were unrealistic at that time, or just too much of a hassle to really think about. Soon, even I began to doubt my own abilities. I knew I wouldn't make anything of my life if I didn't try. But after months of the same discouragement, I started not even caring about how trapped and awful I felt about myself at home. I became listless. I missed the passion and the ambition that I once had. I wanted something to change so badly. Anything to save me from doing the same boring thing each day. But I was scared of seeming too entitled or illogical, so I tried not to talk about my situation at home. Deep down, I knew that even if I fooled everyone around me, that I was perfectly content. I'd never convince myself. My fake smile and gratitude was almost automatic. I thought no one would want to be around me if I weren't lively and positive. And if I were on my own, I'd have nothing to distract me from the thoughts that were tormenting me. I saw my everyday routine as a never-ending and unchangeable cycle. A carousel. And that's how I left it. Not everything has happy endings, but I'm working on doing better. This, strangely, has been quite therapeutic for me. And if there's something I've said in this video that feels maybe familiar to you, then maybe you can find some comfort in knowing you aren't alone in those feelings. Don't give up. You aren't alone.